Welcome to Wayfinder, your gateway to the world's hidden stories, traditions, and histories. In this video, we explore the eerie customs of a Turkish village and the haunting tale of Khadija. In the past, there was a remote village in northern Turkey called Çınarlı, where the culture was strange, eerie, and steeped in mystery. The village was situated in a rugged mountainous area where harsh winters and deep ravines forced its people to live in isolation, bound by ancient traditions. One of the most peculiar and twisted customs of the village was a ritual that had been passed down through generations, a ritual known only to the elders and never spoken of openly among the younger villagers. The main character of this story was Khadija, a young girl from Çınarlı. Khadija's family belonged to one of the oldest and most respected families in the village, and her father was one of the village's most esteemed elders. The elders of the village believed they could communicate with the spirits of the mountains, and they had a sacred bond with these spirits that had to be maintained through a specific ritual. This ritual, which took place after the first snowfall each year, was performed at a mystical tree located deep in the mountains, known as the Lost Tree. The Lost Tree was considered sacred by the villagers, but it was not a tree that anyone could approach. The villagers whispered that it was inhabited by a sorrowful, malevolent spirit, and that it was tied to the fate of the village. According to the elders, without appeasing the spirit of the Lost Tree, the village would fall into ruin. But the appeasement came at a heavy cost. Each year, one individual had to offer themselves to the spirit in a form of sacrifice. This sacrifice meant surrendering their soul to the tree, never to return. Khadija had always feared this ritual. She had heard the terrifying stories of those who had gone to the tree, never to return. But one year, the elders chose her to perform the ritual. Her father, with great solemnity, told her, "You must do this, for our survival depends on it." Khadija's heart sank, knowing what it meant. Those who went to the tree were never seen again, their souls bound to the spirit of the lost tree, and their bodies eventually forgotten by time. But the village's prosperity depended on it. The night of the ritual came, and the first snow had begun to fall. Khadija, trembling, left her home and made her way towards the lost tree. The villagers, silent and watchful, followed from a distance. Her heart pounded in her chest as she approached the tree. The wind howled through the mountains, and the air was thick with an unnatural cold. The tree's twisted roots and gnarled branches loomed before her like a dark, foreboding sentinel. As she stood before the tree, a deep, raspy voice echoed through the air. "You have come, the one who must give." Khadija froze, her body trembling. The tree seemed to be alive, its bark moving as if it were breathing. The spirit of the tree was not a mere myth. It was real, and it was waiting for her. With great trepidation, Khadija stepped forward. The moment her hand touched the bark, a surge of energy flowed through her, and a dark, shadowy figure emerged from the ground. The spirit, sorrowful and ancient, appeared before her, its eyes full of pain and sorrow. It spoke to her in a voice that sent chills through her soul. "Your sacrifice is what sustains us. Your life will be the price for the survival of your village." Khadija felt her heart sink, but she knew there was no turning back. "If this is what you require," she whispered, "then I offer myself." At that moment, the tree's roots seemed to come alive, wrapping around her legs, pulling her into the earth. The energy that flowed from the tree was overwhelming, and Khadija's body began to lose its form. She felt her soul detach from her physical body, merging with the dark energy of the tree. Her body was no longer hers. It became part of the tree, part of the spirit that sustained the village. The next morning, Khadija's body was found at the foot of the tree, pale and lifeless, her eyes hollow. The villagers mourned her loss, but the harvest was bountiful, the seasons were kind, and the village flourished as never before. No one knew the true cost of this prosperity. The soul of a young girl had been claimed by the spirit of the lost tree. Khadija's story was passed down through the generations, and every year when the first snow fell, the villagers would gather around the tree, remembering her sacrifice. But they never knew the truth, that their prosperity came at the price of a soul trapped forever in the roots of the lost tree. The twisted culture of Çınarlı continued, and each year another life would be offered, ensuring that the village remained safe, but at an unfathomable cost.